where I'm going with this. Karmelo Anthony has a weapon in his hand that looks pretty big, looks kind of gruesome, but these guys have weapons in their hands that ain't nothing to play with either. Okay? Those are pretty serious weapons that the McCaffrey brothers have in their hands too. I'm just laying this out because that picture of Karmelo has surfaced with him having a weapon in his hand. Now, if he has this weapon illegally and he shouldn't have this weapon, then this is bad. He shouldn't be doing this, right? Shouldn't be doing this, right? If these two twins have these weapons and they're not registered to these weapons, then they're wrong too, even though I've seen pictures of their father with them when they were babies with their weapons. Oh yeah, as young as 4 and 5 and 6 years old with their weapons. So I just wanted to lay that out because somebody is going to say that on the comment section of this video. Somebody's going to say that in the chat room. Somebody's going to say that. Well, there's a picture of him with a weapon in his hand, so that means Karmelo Anthony had a propensity for violence, so therefore we understand why he could do what he did. Someone's going to run with that narrative. Knowing that young teenagers have emotional issues, their brains are not fully developed until over 25 years of age, and we also know that it is commonplace that you do have bullying in schools. You do have rival schools that bully each other. You do have situations where teenagers have run-ins with each other. I'm just laying that all out. Let me show you the first video of the program today. Check this out.
Details how a tense situation escalated when Austin Metcalf, a 17-year-old, told a 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony that he was sitting under the wrong tent. The report says a short time later, Metcalf grabbed Anthony to tell him to move, and that Anthony pulled out a knife and stabbed Metcalf once in the chest. The report says a resource officer from Staley Middle School next door was the first on scene. It goes on to say that Anthony told the officer he was protecting himself, and that he said Metcalf put his hands on him.
Did you all hear that part? Karmelo Anthony said to the police the minute they arrested him. And you know another thing that's interesting about this that nobody's talking about, everybody? Nobody's talking about, let me get closer. Nobody is talking about the fact that Karmelo Anthony didn't do this and run off. He didn't run and hide. They didn't have to look for him. There was no manhunt. Hear me out. There was no manhunt for Karmelo Anthony. He didn't run and hide. He didn't try to leave the state. They didn't have to knock on the door of his family and say, do you know where your son is? When he did when he stabbed, unfortunately, Austin McCaffrey, he still was at the track meet. He still was at the track and field. He didn't run off where they had to do an all-out manhunt for him. Think about what I'm saying to you. The young man stayed there. They arrested him. He didn't evade the police. He didn't run. He didn't fight the police. He stayed there and said out of his own mouth, I was defending myself. I want anybody that understands character to the idea that he stabbed someone is terrible. It's horrible. What the hell was going through his mind? But it also speaks to the fact that he knew he did something wrong and he stayed there to deal with the consequences. And when the consequences were coming his way, such as the police, he told them. He told them. He told them, everybody. He said, I was defending myself. Do you hear what I'm saying? He said, I was defending myself. Hear what I'm saying?
NBC5 had a chance to speak with attorney Russell Wilson for some insight into the case as it pertains to the idea of self-defense. Keep in mind, he is not representing anyone associated with this case.
And his defense may argue, for example, for a lesser homicidal offense. They may say that this is a manslaughter or that this is some other offense than a murder. that perhaps may have a smaller range of punishment. Or they may say that for some reason, self-defense here. I'm not sure. I don't know, again, all the facts either, but I think that both sides would very quickly begin their investigation.
And based on what we know this midday, Anthony could face from 5 to 99 years if convicted.
Did you all hear that? That this young man you see on the screen could face 99 years, meaning he'll literally be in prison for life. And I want to thank everybody for being here. QT1, it's good to see you over here. Copper in the house. Another CG, Peggy Roster, Fly C, Alicia, everyone that's coming in, Bob Costas, everybody that's here, thank you. Let's have an open mind today. Tiffany Jackson is here. I'm saying this was wrong on all levels for young people to have to resort to this kind of behavior, right? He's wrong for stabbing him because it's seen as a deadly weapon. Okay? If they were the aggressors towards him, and as a result of that, he had to protect himself, the twins are wrong too. People are saying, the rumors out there is that these twins were aggressive. Then there's people saying, or they're saying, oh, it was Karmelo that was aggressive. But again, I'm going to say again, where is the video footage? Why don't we have video footage so that we can see what really happened? And remember what I said again, that 10.6% of all homicides in America are by knife crime. 1,562 homicides have been based on knife crime, being stuck with knives. This is a problem in America like it is in the UK. When it comes to weapons, the United States has the 28th highest rate of deaths from firearms violence in the world at 4.31 deaths per 100,000 people in 2021. That was more than 7 times as high as the rate in Canada, which had a 0.57 death per 100,000 people, and about 340 times higher than in the United Kingdom, which has a 0.013 death per 100,000. That's because in the United Kingdom, they do not allow you to have guns. If you get caught with a firearm in the United Kingdom, that's going to be your ass, which is why you have an increase in knife violence in the United Kingdom. Everybody's doing it. White boys, blacks, everybody is engaging in that behavior in the United Kingdom. So that's why I don't want to hear anything about, well, what Karmelo Anthony did is a reflection of black culture. Bullshit. White people be using knives. Every race, a group of people be using knives. Have y'all seen that movie, Gangs of New York? The fighting that was going on between all the different gangs in New York, the Italian gangs, the Irish gangs, what were they using? Knives. So this ain't nothing that's this is more a reflection of American culture. It's not specific to just one group. I'm going to say this again. This is a situation that happened in Texas, Frisco, Texas, where they have harsh laws about protecting yourself and standing your own ground. So why can't Karmelo Anthony get the same benefit of the doubt when he said to the police when they arrested him that he was defending himself? Can he get that? Can he get that, at least that benefit of the doubt? Because this hasn't gone to trial yet. We haven't seen all the evidence. But I have to say this, everybody. It's wrong to take someone's life in this manner. The young man should have never used the knife. It would have been better for him to look for an adult or get the hell out of there. You can look at this so many different ways. But this is a reflection of American culture, which praises and puts on a pedestal violence in movies, violence in music videos. You got the video games, all that kind of stuff. We put on the pedestal violence in America. And then we wonder and we look at ourselves and say, well, why did this kid do this? Why did that kid do that? And then we want to deny the fact that you've got bullying problems in high school all the time. There are issues that happen in high school that we haven't even heard about because it hasn't gotten to the news. So there's a problem in our country fundamentally with the overall culture. Let's hear from his father, who's going to question about Karmelo Anthony's background and what kind of father he has. But let's hear this video.
Died in his brother's arms. They were twins, identical twins, and his brother was holding on to him, trying to make it stop bleeding, and he died in his brother's arms. And I rushed up there, and I saw him on the gurney, and I could tell. They said he wasn't breathing. I could see all the blood. I saw where the wound was.
Understandably still in shock, Jeff Metcalf says a precious memory was made just this past weekend when he took his twin boys hunting. That's where Austin got his first hog. Well, this morning at around 10, he rushed here to Kirkendall Stadium where the Memorial High School student athlete suffered a fatal stab wound during this track and field meet. Frisco police say a fight broke out between two students when one stabbed the other. More than 100 student athletes were participating in this meet. Fortunately, they were safely evacuated. Police arrested the suspect. He is 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony of Frisco. He is now charged with murder. Some students unfortunately witnessed this deadly encounter and have been interviewed by police. Despite life-saving efforts, the 16-year-old victim died at the hospital. Austin, his father shares, was born 2 minutes before his twin brother Hunter, the two inseparable, as you can imagine. Austin is being remembered as an outstanding student at Memorial High, his football team's MVP, and a young man of faith. His father grappling with loss and forgiveness.
I'm not trying to judge, but what kind of parents did this child have? What was he taught? He brought a knife to a track meet, and he murdered my son by stabbing him in the heart.
Now, I want to ask you all a question. Don't we have, and once again, I want to say this again, this should have never happened. His son should have never been stabbed. He should have never lost his life. Karmelo Anthony, maybe he took it too far with the knife. Like I said before in this broadcast, gone are the days when you fight with your knuckles and you live to see another day. You have some bruises, but you still live. We live in a society where people go to fighting with weapons first before anything, right? This is not right. This happens this happens more than we want to admit to it. But the thing that I notice is that haven't we had white boys, white kids who have gone into schools and have deleted people in schools? We've had white men that have done mass deletions in this country, right? And when they do this, do you ever hear anybody say, what's wrong with the parents? What's wrong with white society? What's wrong with white culture in America? Do you ever hear anybody say that? Put sevens in the chat room if you don't hear people ever saying that. You never hear anybody say, what's wrong with the white male? Or what's wrong with the white boy who grows up to be a mass deleter with that that AR-15 rifle that they always like to use? Does anybody ever say that? Is there anybody that comes out and say this is a byproduct of what's wrong with white culture? Right? How many times have we seen situations where white boys go out and do mass deletions and we find out that, oh, their parents trained them on how to use guns, how to use weapons like the twins here? How many times do we see that? And when they do something, nobody says, what's the hell wrong with the parents? Nobody is questioning what's wrong with the white male in this society that feels insecure with themselves, or the white boys who feel insecure with themselves. What's driving them to go into school and harm their own fellow students? Oh, I forgot. They always ghost. I know what they always say. It's just what I just been saying. They always say they were bullied in school. That's why I said that this is what happened in Frisco, Texas is a bigger byproduct of a bigger problem where you have bullying and you have things that go on in school, because when these white boys go into schools and do mass deletions of their fellow classmates, they always bring up the fact that they have emotional problems, mental problems, and they always say, well, they were bullied. So when the white boys go into school and do mass deletions of their peers, everybody runs with the notion that they were bullied. But when the black kid in Karmelo Anthony's situation says to the police, and he did not run, and if you notice, when the white boys who do the mass deletions and the white men that do the mass deletions with their AR-15 rifles, when they do the deed, they run off, they run, they hide, or they'll take their own life like a coward, right? But Karmelo Anthony didn't run, didn't hide, gave himself up to the police and said, I was defending myself because I was being bullied. So nobody is willing to at least take that in consideration for Karmelo Anthony in this situation. It's a tragic situation. No one's willing to look into that part because no, he stabbed him. He took his life, which was horrible. It should have never happened. He took Austin McCaffrey's life, and it's a tragic situation, everybody. But when he says it was self-defense and that was his first report to the police, everybody's saying, nah, he wasn't bullied. He's just a thug. Do y'all hear what I'm saying here? Y'all get what I'm saying? Put sevens in the chat room. And thank you for the super chat, Antonio. I appreciate that. Yes, there's a double standard. That's what I'm trying to say, everybody. I'm not saying that Karmelo Anthony is not wrong for taking a knife and deleting this young man. He's wrong for that. Taking it to the level of a deadly weapon. Maybe fight with your hands, punch or whatever, but don't take it to the point where you use something as a weapon and you stab at someone with that. That's where he's wrong. And unfortunately, as a result of him doing this, even if he was defending himself and they got aggressive with him, even if that's true, this is Texas. He's a young black male. And the bottom line is he's going to do long time. Even if he can say, I was defending myself, I still believe they're going to still give him long time because of the nature of what he did. And it's the state of Texas. This is something that our youth, our kids can learn from and should learn from. Let's go back to this.
The guy was in the wrong place. They asked him to move, and he bowed up. This is murder. I don't know. I know they have someone in custody.
Yeah, we do.
And you know what? I already forgive this person.
So the father says this is murder, and you know murder is a legal term. Karmelo Anthony says, no, I was defending myself. But this father is claiming that he's already forgiven Karmelo Anthony for what he did because he says God will make everything right. Let's hear this again.
This is murder. I don't know. I know they have someone in custody.
Yeah, we do.
And you know what? I already forgive this person.
Already?
Already. God takes care of things. God's going to take care of me. God's going to take care of my family.
All right, everybody. Did you hear what he said? What are your thoughts in the chat room? Let's look at the vote so far. So far, 75% of you, 75% of you in the chat room agree that he was doing self-defense. 24% of you, make sure you vote. Make sure you vote on this. You see where I have Karmelo Anthony stabbed Austin McCaffrey. Was it self-defense or not? So make sure you vote. We're at 76% of people who believe that it was that he was in his right to defend himself. They believe that it was the defense situation because that's what Karmelo Anthony said to the police immediately when they arrested him. So let's just keep that in mind. Let's go to some other clips. You're going to definitely, you're definitely going to be, this is definitely a trip, everybody. This is definitely something else. I got to admit, this is something else. A track meet where you're supposed to be able to have fun and enjoy the sport of track and field, and this shit happens. Unfreaking believable. Unbelievable. Wow. Let me show you this video. Let's get to the videos. And okay, everybody. Let's go. Peace.
Looks like the father of 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony is speaking out. Come here, let's talk about it. So as we are well aware, the narrative of Karmelo Anthony has been plastered all over social media, seemingly finding the worst images, trying to paint him as a terrible child. But Karmelo's father stated something different. He stated that he was a good kid. And he also stated that his son did not provoke the incident. And of course, people have their differences about how one reacts in a situation of this manner. He stated that Karmelo worked 2 jobs and also had a 3.7 GPA. So whether one agrees or disagrees with the outcome of the situation or not, the deliberate slander.
It's the video itself that has a low tone to it. So I'm going to go to another video if that's too low for you all to hear.
Is right on cue for media, regardless of if he was the perpetrator or the victim. He would still be slandered all over the media.
Now, thank you, Mitchell. You say Daniel Penny got off for self-defense, not Karmelo. Right, Daniel Penny, who choked out the young man he choked out in New York on the subway. Yeah. He's gotten off on self-defense. But when it comes to Karmelo Anthony, people are not wanting to say people don't want to believe that it's self-defense, even though the young man has said it was self-defense himself, just like Daniel Penny said it was self-defense for him, right?
So we have seen this narrative time and time again, trying to sway public's opinion before due process is given.
Right. So basically what he's saying is that public opinion is being swayed when the young man hasn't had due process. He's absolutely right. Now, I believe in having balance on the channel. Here's someone who has a different point of view. You probably have seen this guy on TikTok and on social media. He's kind of I would say, a black conservative, a Trump, a mega supporter. And of course, you know how this is going to go. Check this out.
Karmelo Anthony, who is the 17-year-old teen who stabbed and killed the other 17-year-old teen, Austin Metcalf, at a track meet, is now saying that, oh, his son was a good kid and he didn't do anything wrong and he had a 3.7 GPA and he was a good kid and he wasn't the aggressor, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And again, this is what I tell black people. You never hold your children and you never hold each other accountable when this stuff happens.
Boom. You hear what he's just said? He said, black people, when your kids do this sort of stuff, you never hold them accountable. Now, did this mully mouth Negro say the same thing about Kyle Rittenhouse? Did this mully mouth Negro say the same thing about Daniel Penny? Did this Negro say the same thing about the white boy that went into the church in South Carolina and took the lives of those black people that were praying? Isn't it funny how black conservatives, which they only are used to talk about us, so that their white counterparts can't be called racist, this Negro sits up here and says, black people, you never hold your kids accountable. Did this Negro do a post and talk about white people and how they're not holding their kids accountable for doing all type of crimes like mass deletions in school? When white kids are doing things with weapons, do you have these black conservatives that come out on their post and call out white America and say, white people, you not holding your kids accountable? If y'all know I'm telling the truth, put 7s in the chat room. How often these Negroes, these conservative Negroes, are so good at coming out and telling black folks what we ain't doing and what we should be doing, but you never see them call out white folks, their families, their behavior when they're doing wrong, when they're involved in dysfunctional behavior. Then these black conservatives like this dude, he ain't going to come out and say he would have. When Kyle Rittenhouse did what he did, you didn't hear a black conservative come out and say Kyle Rittenhouse is an example of what's wrong with white America with raising their kids. He goes into another community that he was not from, premeditatedly with a weapon, and you didn't hear one black conservative say what's wrong with white America in the raising of their kids. It's interesting how these paid-for Negroes, how they can be. Listen to some more.
Et cetera, et cetera. And again, this is what I tell black people. You never hold your children and you never hold each other accountable when this stuff happens. And the reason that you have a 17-year-old black kid, Karmelo Anthony, that literally stabbed and killed this other young boy, Austin Metcalf, took his life, destroyed that family's life, and also destroyed his own life because he's going to be in jail for the rest.
Right. He is going to be in jail. That is true.
Of his life. And the reason that they are like this is because they do not have discipline.
Listen how he's talking, everybody. The reason why they're like this, I guess he ain't black. I guess he ain't black, y'all. He said the reason why they are like this. Folks, I could go on Google right now. All of you can Google right now, and we can find tons of incidents where white kids have taken the lives of classmates. Not one, but in mass with their AR-15 rifles. And I haven't seen, like I said, I have never seen this Negro or any of these black conservatives get on their social media and talk about this is how white folks are with their kids. They never hold themselves accountable.
They do not have parents around, and even he couldn't have possibly had a father around. Now the father's trying to run out to the media, and he's trying to say, "Oh, he's a good."
Now listen to him. He just sat up here and did. This is what black conservatives also do. They stereotype all black people. He said he couldn't have possibly had a father at home. How many goddamn white kids go out and commit crimes and got fathers at home? I'm pissed off right now. Listen to me, everybody. This mully mouth Negro that I'm playing, I'm playing it because I want to give some contrast here. Comparison and contrast. He says that black parents never hold their kids accountable. He says that, oh, his father's coming out and saying that his son is a good son and doesn't have a right. But then he's going to say, oh, he could have never been in his son's life because he did this. How many white kids go out and engage in rabid behavior in communities and they have a father at home? How many white kids end up getting go out and take people's lives en masse with a weapon that their daddy gave them, that their daddy trained them on? And he's assuming that Karmelo Anthony's father wasn't. Karmelo Anthony's father is in the household with him. He comes from a two-parent home background. So what he did is, because he hates himself, is that he went to the usual stereotype that this is a young black kid that ain't got no father at home, no father teaching him anything. And if this is a black kid that's doing bad, then why is it that he doesn't have a criminal background? This is the first time he's ever had a run-in with the law at all. Okay? No criminal background, was on his way to getting a college scholarship, football, track, had a good GPA, and he effed up when he did what he did to this kid to the right of me. He effed up. That's a fact. But he's already stereotyping and saying that, well, you know, his father really wasn't in his life. You got white kids committing all types of crimes where they take the lives of not just one, but many. And ain't nobody talking about, well, and then they'll have a father at home and nobody says, well, the father is to blame for this. They'll say, no, the kid has mental illness or the kid got bullied at school.
Kid, he didn't do nothing, et cetera, et cetera. That father could not have possibly been in this young man's life. Because if he was really that good, if he was really the good kid that the father is saying that he was, he would not have had a knife and he would not have gotten into an altercation with another 17-year-old kid.
Okay. And what about the white kids, the white boys who are quote unquote good kids and they got an AR-15 rifle and they go back to school and take out the kids that they're angry with? What about those fathers? Those white fathers? If we're going to talk about black families and black fathers, if we're going to talk about the dysfunction, we got to talk about the dysfunction of everybody. Because I'm going to say again, this is a part of American culture. This is an example of American dysfunction. This is not an example of black dysfunction. This is an example of American dysfunction because all Americans engage in this type of effery.
And stabbed him and killed him. Okay, this is not something that quote unquote good kids do.
And it was wrong what he did, completely wrong what he did. But guess what? You could be a good kid and somebody could attack you. You can do self-defense. And as a result of trying to defend yourself, you can unfortunately take somebody's life. It doesn't necessarily mean you weren't a good kid. It can necessarily mean that at that time, in that moment, you did something heinous. You did something terrible because maybe you were trying to defend yourself because you were being jumped by two people or more. That could be the case in this situation. We'll have to see. But if he was a bad kid, he would already have a juvenile record, a police record of causing mischief in the community. He would have a long record. Something triggered this kid, Karmelo, to do what he did. It was wrong what he did. Should have never happened. But it's a bigger problem of the problems that we have in high school with bullying that goes around. It's a bigger problem of how we glorified violence in American society through our movies, our music. All this shit. American society always glorifies violence and always has. It does not justify what he did, but I'm telling you, we have a culture problem, not in Black America. We have a culture problem in America. Because you got kids in other racial groups that's doing shit too. Let's go to the next video, everybody. Check this out.
Karmelo Anthony situation is giving me Poke the Bear vibes. Like, it's giving Poke the Bear and get fucking mauled type of vibes. Like, I don't know how we got here and what made the Karmelo Anthony respond the way he's responded to those children, but I don't think that there would be any other reason for someone to respond that way unless they were being bullied or if they were being poked at in some type of way. That's the only reason I would see that type of response. First of all, don't put your hands on nobody. That's
This man is telling the truth in the things that he's saying. people say that they didn't know each other. Karmelo Anthony and the Austin brothers, or the McCaffrey brothers, didn't know each other. It would not surprise me that if it comes out in court that they had a run-in, or Karmelo had a run-in with one or both of these brothers. It would not surprise me. It would not surprise me. Let's continue.
That's the golden rule. Keep your hands to yourself. Do not
Right,
put
keep
your hands
to
on
yourself.
anybody because you don't know how they're going to respond.
Right.
And this is clearly that situation. But I see people dragging his name through the mud. Let's be honest. This is a 4.0 student with no history of violence or any police history or anything of the sort.
Right there. Again, he had no police history, no So this is not your garden variety young black male who's in trouble with the law since the time he could walk on the ground. This is not garden variety young man who was a drug dealer in gangs and all this sort of stuff like that. He had no criminal background. That's why I said this seems to be an isolated situation that unfortunately got out of hand and was bad. And Karmelo Anthony, unfortunately, because he didn't use good judgment by bringing a knife to a track meet, which ultimately led to someone's life being taken away, he's going to be looking at the possibility of being in jail maybe for the rest of his life. That's the sad thing about it, at a track meet. Let's get back to this, everybody.
This person also came from a two-parent household. There was nothing going on. He hasn't been diagnosed with any behavioral issues or anything like that. This was just an unfortunate situation on both sides. But at the end of it, it's like, keep your hands to yourself because you don't know what's going to happen. I pray for both sides, both families, because this is a tragic situation.
It's a very tragic situation. I got to give him a clap on that. Very tragic. Very. Very, 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 very tragic. It should have never happened. I hate that it happened. Now, this question I have to bring to you all again that I brought up in the beginning of the program. Where is the video? There should be video footage somewhere so that we can see what really took place. Where's the video footage from the stadium itself? Where's the video footage with someone's phone? They said that there were witnesses. You telling me that nobody pulled out their cell phone? This is what this is talking about right here from TikTok. Let me let y'all hear this right here. She makes a very good point. Check this out.
Of course, where's the video footage? Where is the video footage? Of course, that's the question that it's on everybody's mind, because we want to know, in today's age, everybody pulls out a phone so quick. Why is there no video footage of the incident that happened down in Frisco, Texas? Well, remember the young man who I shared his post earlier where he said that Karmelo Anthony was a victim and was being bullied by the two twin white boys, right? Well, he actually has been responding to comments on that post that he made of people who were being racist, saying that it didn't matter. He still brought a knife. Well, this is what he says. Allegedly, there is a video. He says those kids were bullies.
What?
They attacked one person, outnumbered him. What was he supposed to do? Oh, but I forgot. It's only self-defense when it's convenient for you. It's called stand your ground. He said, there is a video. You'll see it in court. Just.
Woo, did you hear that? That there's possibly a video that we could see in court? That there is a video of this circumstance, y'all. That there is a video. This is what the sister's saying that's been reported. We'll see. Because you know there's going to be things in court that we're not going to see, that we're going to see in social media that's going to be only in court. Let's get back to this.
Wait, stop letting race-baiting headlines cloud the truth. This isn't about color. It's about right and wrong. These kids were bullies. They attacked and outnumbered him, which is really interesting because now we know, wow, there is video footage. And he's standing 10 toes down that this video footage is going to exonerate Karmelo Anthony.
Woo. You hear that? All right, let's go back. Let's go to the next video here. Make sure you hit the likes button. Share this video on all your social media. I appreciate everybody that's here. So we got 78 people that believe that he was engaging in self-defense, and 22% of people say no, it wasn't self-defense. That it wasn't. So definitely make sure you vote. I've got the survey up there. Make sure you hit that survey and put in your vote about what do you think was really going on in this situation. Let's get to the next video I want to show you. This is interesting stuff. This is the same sister, but she brings up something very interesting, and I've got video footage to back up what she's saying. Check this out. Check this out, everybody. Here she is again. Same sister.
Metcalf keep changing his story about what happened in Frisco, Texas with his brother and Karmelo Anthony. Okay? I'm not saying that he's lying, but I want to know, why do the little details keep changing here and there every time he does an interview with the news? I'm actually really happy that the Anthony family hasn't made any statements. I think it's in their best interest, because I feel like at this point, they need to stop Hunter from talking, because Hunter keeps adding and removing details and changing from his initial statement that he gave when he was on the news.
I'm going to stop it right there. This is the brother of Austin McCaffrey, who lost his life. That's his brother right there, Hunter McCaffrey. This is the one that she's talking about, and she says that he keeps changing his story. You know why I know this is true, what she's saying? Because I found she's going to play the video footage, but I'm going to enlarge it because it's going to be small on her content. I'm going to show you the video footage, and everybody in the chat room, everyone listening, you need to listen very intently. I'm going to let it play without interrupting it, but you've got to listen to it, because you'll see that he is inconsistent in how this whole thing went down. Let's get back to what the sister is saying right here, though.
So let's go ahead and tell it, because I'm going to play the clips for you, because I want to know what you guys think, right? Why do you guys think that he would change the details, right? So the first time that Hunter told the story about what happened, he said that him and his brother saw this kid. He didn't belong. His brother approached Karmelo. After his brother approached Karmelo, Karmelo got aggressive, right? And did not want. So the first time that Hunter told the story about what happened, he said that him and his brother saw this kid. He didn't belong. His brother approached Karmelo. After his brother approached Karmelo, Karmelo got aggressive, right? And did not want to leave the tent. Whatever happened, happened. Unfortunately, Austin lost his life. But I want you to pay attention to that detail. Hunter said his brother approached Karmelo. After his brother approached Karmelo, Karmelo got aggressive.
Your mom told me that.
There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack. The kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and then I'm not going to talk about the rest. So yeah. That's just what I saw. I tried to help him, but
it was just senseless.
It was really senseless. Really, I don't know why a person would do that to someone just over that little argument. It's just crazy in this world nowadays how people just up and do that. Like that man has a family. That man has people that care about them all the time, and he did everything for our family too. He was a strong man. He was a strong kid. Mm-hmm. I was strong, and I know I'm strong too, but he's a little stronger. But he did a lot for our family and a bunch of stuff that we just don't recognize. And it's just like, especially throughout our friends too, like everyone knew, like he was the peacemaker. That's what I'm saying. Like heard someone who really makes peace, really calms peace down. He makes everything sail smoothly. And because I get upset, but then he calms me down. It's just he was just all there for me. So it's just really heartbreaking to see like how this happened. There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack. The kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and then I'm not going to talk about the rest. So
Yeah.
just that's just what I saw. And I tried to help him, but
It was just senseless.
it was.
Okay. All right, everybody. Can you hear me now? Could you hear the audio that I was playing? Put sevens in the chat room if you heard the audio that I played 2 times. Did you hear the audio that I played 2 times? So you did hear the audio 2 times before I cut out. I don't know why I'm having technical problems today. I don't normally have these kind of problems. Maybe it's, once again, the damn sensitivity of the stream that I'm doing. Okay. I've played it 2 times. I'm now going to play the other video clip 2 times as well. I need you to hear the inconsistencies that the sister is talking about. Here we go. Here we go.
We come back, we sit down, and this kid said something behind me. I've never met this kid in my entire life, never knew who he was. Said something just inappropriate and uncalled for. And I turned around and asked him who he was. He started getting really aggressive. My brother stepped in. He started being, how he always is with me, just brothers, just having my back. And things started getting more higher intensity. And the kid said some aggressive stuff, reckless stuff, and also try to handle the problem.
Austin was always one to step up. He always was one to step up and be the the person that would do the right thing. And he was doing the right thing by saying to this gentleman that you're not supposed to be in this tent. This is like, because they have personal items there.
A lot of stuff gets stolen, just like that, just precautions and stuff. And our coaches always told us, don't let, other schools, like mess with our stuff, just sit around our tent area. And we set that up for the girls track every meet we had. So it's just like, he knew he wasn't supposed to be there. He was just a
Now, let me play this again and listen to it again.
We come back, we sit down, and this kid said something behind me. I've never met this kid in my entire life, never knew who he was. Said something just inappropriate and uncalled for. And I turned around and asked him who he was. He started getting really aggressive. My brother stepped in. He started being, how he always is with me, just brothers, just having my back. And things started getting more like higher intensity. And the kid said some like aggressive stuff, like reckless stuff, and also try to handle the problem. And yeah,
Austin was always one to step up.
There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, you need to move. He's like, make me move. Austin grabbed his backpack. The kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I looked at my brother, and then I'm not going to talk about the rest. So yeah. That's just what I saw. I tried to help him, but
it was just
all right. When you listen to that, everybody, by putting sevens in the chat room, did you hear some things that seemed a little inconsistent between this particular video clip that I've played now for the third time and the other video clip that I played 2 times? Did you see some slight inconsistencies? If you did hear those inconsistencies in the story, as this sister was saying right here, and let me play it for you again. Check this out. Check this out, what she says at the end.
Why does Hunter Metcalf keep changing his story about what happened in Frisco, Texas with his brother and Karmelo Anthony? Okay.
All right. Okay, so it looks like we've got a lot of sevens in there. You guys have picked that. Now, I got to give a shout out to that sister right there. She did a great job of researching that. I had to find those clips and get it exactly, because she did put this on her TikTok, and you guys wouldn't, it would have been so small you wouldn't have been able to see the expression of his face, right? Because the eyes are the window to the soul, right? So you can see what's going on. Last call. Everybody that's in the chat room, I really appreciate you being here. Thank you for being here. This is a wonderful gathering of wonderful people in the chat room, and we're all just kind of analyzing this together. So it's obvious that there is some slight inconsistencies in the things that he is saying between one interview and another. And usually when people are lying, they forget their lies. And as they continue to keep talking, the lies start to build up, right? And one of the things that the sister was saying is that she's glad that Karmelo Anthony's family is not on social media, or they're not talking to the media, running their mouths, because they probably have lawyers. And I'm sure the lawyers have told them, hey, the best thing you guys can do is not to be jumping on this social media or jumping out there on these broadcasts at this time, right? Because, of course, like the dude that I played earlier, he's already saying, oh, this is a problem. See, black people, they don't hold their kids accountable. And white people hold their kids accountable all the time. We see all the mass deletions that they engage in. I'm not saying that what Karmelo Anthony did was right. It was wrong as 2 left shoes. He should have never did it. He should have, I'm going to say this again, so that nobody can come leaving comments on this video talking about, oh, you making excuses. No, he was wrong as 2 left shoes for bringing a knife to a track meet. He was wrong for doing that, bringing a knife to a track meet. That is wrong because somebody has lost their life because of him bringing a knife. And even if they were bullying him and he was attempting to defend himself, whatever happened to good old bare knuckles fighting? Now, you know, another thing I wonder, everybody, and y'all got to bear with me on this one. Bear with me on this one. What if it was the other way around? I wonder what everybody would be saying if it was the other way around and Karmelo Anthony ended up getting stabbed by one of these twins. I wonder what everybody would be saying then if it was the white boys. Check this out. If the white boys had stabbed Karmelo Anthony, would they be able to get away with using defense? You see how I'm flipping it now? If these two brothers, bear with what I'm saying, that's Hunter McCaffrey, that's his brother on the right side, that's Karmelo on the other side. What if it was the other way around and Karmelo had told them that you're not supposed to sit over here, this is our tent because people be stealing? And what if he came at them to have them leave that section of the bleachers? Okay? And what if Karmelo got stabbed? Are y'all with me? Put sevens in the chat room, and thank you for the super chat again, Antonio. Simply kids now don't have to take a punch. Yeah, they can't take a punch. Put sevens in the chat room if y'all with where I'm going at here. What's going on? Narratives and dialogue. Narratives and dialogues. Check out his channel. What if it was Karmelo Anthony who got stabbed by one of these McCaffrey brothers? And let's say the McCaffrey brothers said, well, we stabbed him because Karmelo was aggressive. See, no matter what we do as black people, we can't win on either side. Because what if they had stabbed Karmelo and turned around and said, well, Karmelo was aggressive towards us. We feared for our lives. So we had to defend ourselves, and we have the right to stand our ground because, shit, we live in Texas. If they had did that, my question to you all, would everybody buy that scenario? Would the media buy it? Would you buy it? How many times have we seen people like this say that they were scared of a black person? How many times have we seen police officers who are armed with a weapon, a firearm, tell us, I fired my firearm at him because I saw him reaching for a what? What do they always say? A knife. I thought he was reaching for a firearm. I thought that he was about to harm me. I felt my life was in intimate danger, so that's why I fired my firearm to take his life. How many times do we hear police say that when they encounter black men, and then we find out that that black man has no weapons, no nothing? And haven't I told you all on this channel that if you look at the stats, black men are deleted by police 3 times more than our white counterparts when we have no weapons on us at all? You got police that will fire at us and claim we had something and we didn't have nothing, and claim that it was their self-defense. Here you have Karmelo saying to the police, it was self-defense. They were tag teaming me. And everybody says, nah, this is just a rotten black kid who has a 3.7 GPA, never been in jail a day of his life, no criminal background, works, and was on his way to getting a college or track scholarship or football scholarship. No. You see where I'm going with this, everybody? I want y'all to put sevens in the chat room if you're rocking with me. The double standard, how you can flip this on either side. However, we know the reality is that Karmelo is the one that stabbed Austin McCaffrey. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to get away from around that. He stabbed him. It was wrong. It should have never happened, and he should have never had a knife. But it's a bigger problem with our high school kids. This ain't isolated because it's an isolated situation for Karmelo, who does not have a criminal background. But it's not an isolated situation for the problems that go on in high schools all across this country where kids are being bullied and things happen. When white kids go out and do mass deletions in high schools of their own classmates, the first thing that they say is it's a mental health problem. The second thing they'll say is he was bullied. Everybody, if you hear what I'm saying, put sevens in the chat room. If you understand the premise of where I'm coming from with this, let's go. We're getting close to conclusion. Let's go with the next clip. Now, I'm going to play this clip. It's a controversial clip. So there's some things in this clip that may or may not be true. But I'm saying this is what this guy is alleging. He's alleging this. Check this out. This is alleged. This is alleged. This is not facts. I'm just going to keep it real. It's not been proven. It has not been proven as factual, okay? It has not been proven as factual, y'all. Just keep that in mind. It has not been proven as factual, but he does bring up something that makes you raise your eyebrows. Check this out.
This story regarding Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf down there in Frisco, Texas. Austin got unalived. A lot of people are trying to make it a race issue, and it's not. It has nothing to do with that right there. But a lot of people are attacking this young man and are showing the negative side and everything. But I want you to see him in his positive side, because this was self-defense. The story that's being told, Karmelo, he was sitting up under a tent, under the wrong tent and everything. That's what they said, under the wrong tent. And Austin came over there, told him to move. Said Karmelo got aggressive with him and everything, and then stabbed him with a knife in the heart and everything, and he passed away. That's not the full story. First off, Karmelo had permission from another coach to go over there and set up under that tent. He had permission. Another thing that was said and been spread out far and wide is that they didn't know each other. That's a lie, because they definitely knew each other. This is an older picture. They definitely knew each other. Other stuff that's coming out is Austin was being mean and harassing Karmelo.
Let me stop that right there. I don't necessarily know if that picture is them. I've blown it up. Here go picture right here. Boom. That is definitely not the white dude. That now there's Karmelo. That's the same picture that comes with the picture where he's holding a whipping in his hand like that, right? But then again, they got whippings too, okay? They got whippings too. They got whippings too, y'all, okay? They got whippings. What's the difference, right? One might be hunters. One, I don't like to see black kids with whippings in their hands like this. I don't know if it's registered. Is it a real whipping? Is it a toy? Is it a make-believe? I don't know. But we know that they got whippings as well. Just want to keep that in mind. I don't necessarily think this is them. The white guy that's standing in between Karmelo and his friend here doesn't look like either one of these. I don't know if this is either one of these guys, right? I don't know. I don't know what you think looking at examining it. I don't know if it's either one of them, right? There go the younger brother, Hunter, McCaffrey. There go his brother to the right, Austin McCaffrey, who lost his life in this situation. I don't know if that's them right there. The guy on the right with the shades looks like he could be one of them. Looks like he can. He looks like. The white dude in the tank top in the middle doesn't look like either one of them. So this is where you got to look at this stuff or hear this stuff with a grain of salt somewhat. But let me continue this.
His girlfriend, actually, Karmelo's girlfriend, he was harassing her at a party that was about maybe a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago. Karmelo.
Now, the alleged statement that this man is saying is that Karmelo's girlfriend was harassed at a party by one of these McCaffrey brothers. Could that be the reason why he showed up with a knife, knowing that they would be there, that there could be some trouble? I don't know, everybody. Just a thought. What do you think in the chat room, everybody? Lady Spade says, those boys have curly hair. That's not them. Right. I don't think it's them. Thank you for putting that in the chat room. I don't think it's them. Now, well, both of them do kind of have curly-ish hair. Yeah, these guys got curly hair. These guys don't have curly hair. You're right. I see where you're going at. Their hair is not curly. His hair is not curly. Yeah, I don't think it's them. That's the reason why I'm using enough common sense to say to you all, I don't think that that's them. But let me just play that. Let me just play it. I'm just giving a disclaimer that this is all alleged. Like he said that the girlfriend was attacked by these guys or something happened with the girlfriend with them. I don't know if that's even true. That could be alleged. But let me just play this a little bit more and we're going to end this.
For his girlfriend, then all of a sudden the fight broke out. Austin broke Karmelo's phone just the day before this incident took place. So the day of this incident,
he's saying that Austin broke Karmelo's phone just the day before this incident. Are you buying what he's saying? Have you all heard those rumors to be fact or just a rumor? Right? He's saying that Austin McCaffrey broke his phone a day before this incident happened or two. I don't know. I don't know how true this is. This is all speculative. This is all alleged. I'm not saying that this is facts. I'm not saying that it's facts. But God knows what's going to come out in court around this whole issue. The young lady that I played earlier said that there's video footage that will probably be shown in court. I would like to see that video footage if it exists. But I have to be honest, how could we not have video footage when everybody takes their phones out these days in videos? They're at a track meet. So the question again is, where is the video footage from anybody's cell phone about what happened at the track meet when this whole thing took place, y'all? Somebody's got to have some footage, right? Somebody's maybe hiding something. I don't know. You tell me. What do you think? This is crazy. This is crazy, y'all. Make sure if you're liking the content that you hit the bell notification, subscribe to the channel. Okay, I'm gonna be dropping those pre-produced videos. Also, check out my Truth Media Raw channel. Subscribe to that channel, to Truth Media Raw. You can scroll down on this page and you will now see that channel on my page. I dropped a video that was 40 minutes. I dropped another video about Terrence Howard and what he said about P. Diddy. You want to watch that on that channel right after this is over. Go ahead and do it. I would love you to do that. Drop that on that page. That's a 15-minute video. I did say that all my videos would be short videos on that page, but for whatever reason, I had to put those videos up the way I did. But going forward, the videos will be even more shorter than that, meaning 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 9 minutes. The Terrence Howard video is 15 minutes. In the video that I did on Pastor Marvin Saps is that I found somebody on YouTube who actually went to school with him, grew up with him, and said that he's a damn liar. You definitely want to hear what she has to say. When this video is over, go over to the Truth Media Raw channel. If you don't know how to find that, scroll down my YouTube page, scroll right on down, and you will see the Prime Sports Media channel. You will see the Reacts channel. I'm going to be dropping a Tupac video over there on that channel. And then you'll see finally on the page, Truth Media Raw. Check it out, y'all. And subscribe to this channel. Woo. Boy. Let's hear this.
Austin confronted Karmelo for sitting up under the tent in the wrong area. They got into an argument. Karmelo's backpack was grabbed, and then he was called the N-word, and then Austin tried to grab him forcibly. He tried to forcibly move him. And it wasn't Austin by himself. Both of them got up there and attacked Karmelo. Both of them did. And there were a lot of witnesses down there that said that the twins, plural, tried to jump him. Well, actually, they did jump him. They stomped on him, and they broke his phone, and they tried to take his things. So nothing peaceful was about that whole thing. And something else is going to come out. This is allegedly. Something else is going to come out. He had narcotics in his system. He did. Austin. He had narcotics.
So he's claiming, this is all alleged, everybody, alleged, that Austin McCaffrey may have had some type of narcotic in his system. That's what this man is saying. I don't know how true that is. I haven't seen any news reports on that or police reports on that. We'll have to wait and see. That would all come out in court, I would believe. But like I said, when I played this video, I did make the warning that a lot of it is alleged statements here. Let's continue and move on to another clip, and let's hear the rest of this.
In his system. That's what caused him to be overly aggressive. So just like I said over on the book face over there, that was self-defense. That's what he did. He did self-defense. Everybody's coming for him. People trying to make this out of something that is not self-defense.
Everybody, do you believe that it's self-defense? If you believe that it's self-defense, let's take a vote. I put in the chat room a survey. So far, 75% of you believe that he was engaging in self-defense, and 25% of you believe that it was not self-defense. Let's go on to the next video here and let you hear. Now, this brother said something that I think, it makes you wonder if there's validity to what this brother is about to say. Why? Because Kyle Rittenhouse used a whipping, got himself into a protest that nobody asked him to go to, came from another state into another state, had a whipping in America. America literally made a hero out of Kyle Rittenhouse, literally and figuratively. So what do you all think about this? Let me let you hear this real quick.
I'll use him with Karmelo Anthony. Why y'all ain't have that same energy for Kyle Rittenhouse? He got a weapon from his mother. He traveled and went somewhere to a rally where he didn't live.
Right, to a rally where he didn't live.
So it was premeditated. Because if Karmelo Anthony having a knife means that what he did was premeditated, then what Kyle Rittenhouse did was premeditated. He wasn't invited there. He was going looking for trouble clearly. And again, by y'all logic, Kyle Rittenhouse shouldn't have defended himself. He got hit right, and he returned fire.
That is true. Now, that is true. Kyle Rittenhouse got hit by protesters, and he returned fire. And he crossed state lines into a state that he did not live, and he purposely got himself involved in a protest because he didn't like what was going on, and somebody put hands on him, and he did what? They called it self-defense. Why is it? And he used a firearm to take a life. Once again, I think it was wrong what happened. I wish this wouldn't have happened. We don't need our youth out here with weapons and taking each other's life. We don't need youth bullying other people. We don't need any of this. It's all bad. I don't agree with the method in which he went about fighting this guy, Austin McCaffrey, by way of stabbing him. I don't agree with it. I don't promote it. But I do find it interesting that when Kyle Rittenhouse did his deed, everybody was rallying around him and saying that it was self-defense. Karmelo Anthony. I want to remind people of this. Karmelo Anthony told us, by way of what he said to the police, that he was engaging in self-defense. And Karmelo Anthony didn't run away from the scene. He didn't flee. He didn't hide. They didn't have to do a manhunt for him. They didn't have to knock on the door of his parents and say, "Where is your son? He's wanted for taking the life of another youth in the community." No, He stayed there and gave himself up and said it was self-defense. Kyle Rittenhouse knew he was going into a hostile situation with the protests in Minneapolis. He knew what was going on, and he purposely drove into the state, brought his whipping. Somebody put hands on him. He popped him with his whipping, and America made a hero out of him. Yes, they did. Daniel Penny, I'm going to cook with this. Daniel Penny took the life of a brother that was a street performer who was a homeless person who had mental problems, took his life, choked the man out. While everybody looked and watched him choke this black man out. And then once again, America made him a hero. He even got invited to hang out with Donald Trump. Yeah, black folks, your president, Donald Trump. In Elon Stinky Musk. He got invited to hang out with Mike Johnson. Trump. JD Stinky Vance. They made a hero out of Daniel Penny, who took the life of a black man who had some problems, yes, choked him out. Choked him out. A police officer takes a woman's life because she got some hot water in her hand that, by the way, come to find out, she never threw the water at him. Trayvon Martin's going home, minding his own business to get some snacks to get back to his father's apartment, and he's being followed by a creep. And that creep has a whipping. Trayvon Martin is in Florida standing his own ground to protect himself. And he in the sucker who was following him had a whipping. Fired the firearm, took Trayvon Martin's life. And when Trayvon Martin went to court, they said that his perpetrator was using self-defense and he stood on stand your ground, even though he had a firearm, and Trayvon Martin was simply trying to go home. And you all heard Trayvon Martin say to his girlfriend, I got a creepy guy following me. You all heard the police dispatcher tell, Zinneman, I think was his name. Tell Zinneman to stand down. The police were on their way. No, he takes it into his own power and says they always get away with it. Follows the young man. The young man had a right to defend himself. He had a creep following him, and that creep pulled out a whipping because Trayvon Martin was probably getting the best of him with his hands, and he fired his firearm and took his life. And the family never got no justice. Zinneman is walking around free, making money, and even auction off the whipping that he used to take Trayvon Martin's life. Tell me I'm not telling the truth. Hit those sevens in the chat room if I ain't cooking with grease. Tell me I'm not telling y'all the damn God's honest truth. Zinneman. Did I break that down? Everybody in the chat room that's listening, did I break that down nicely or not? Because nobody else, I hardly expect if anybody on these YouTube streets yet has broken it down in the way that I just broke it down and hit all the tags like I did, crossed all the dots, crossed the T's and dotted the I's. I gave you examples of the hypocrisy of America. So if they could get self-defense and Karmelo Anthony is saying it was self-defense, why can't he get the benefit of the doubt when those individuals got the benefit of the doubt legally? When he already said it was self-defense. Even though, damn it, there should not be a need for youth to have to bring knives or weapons of any kind to a track meet. It has no business at a track meet. Now, I'm going to stand on that. He should have never brought that because he has now ruined his life going forward over this track meet situation. That should have never happened. I feel really bad about this. Both families are hurting. Both families have been impacted by this tragedy. Both the McCaffrey family is hurt, and of course, Karmelo Anthony's family is hurt as well. Let's get back to what this brother is saying here. Check this out.
What's going on? Why y'all upset with Karmelo Anthony? What's the difference? We got the right to bear arms, right? Ain't Texas one of them stand your grounds? What happened to F around and find out? What happened to notifying the authorities if y'all feel like somebody is somewhere where they don't belong? And
that's a good point. I'm going to say this again. Where were the adults? The McCaffrey brothers wanted Karmelo to leave. But I'm wondering, where were the adults around in this situation too? If there had been adults there, maybe this could have been de-escalated so it didn't get to the point where, unfortunately, Austin McCaffrey got stabbed by Karmelo Anthony. And I'm going to say this again as we get close to conclusion. I believe when this comes out in court that we're going to find out that something happened between these guys prior to this incident that could have played a role. This is just my speculation, what I'm alleging that there could have been something prior that happened prior to this that led to this escalating to the point that Karmelo comes there with a knife because maybe he knew they would potentially be there. And he felt some need to have this protection. I don't know. But let's get back to this.
Last time I checked, when did you have to have permission to go to a track meet? You got to have permission to go to a track meet? You can't just go to a track meet on your own? You just can't watch a track meet? Like, what's going on? Like, can we make it make sense? Again, and then y'all saying this is not about color. And at the same time, y'all ass still out here bringing up color. Cal Rittenhouse and Karmelo Anthony ain't too different from each other.
All right. What do you all think about that, everybody? What is your opinions in the chat room?